Yesterday, on April 22nd, 2009, Earth Day, the world learned another tragic episode in the ongoing saga of our world financial collapse when we heard that David Kellerman, the chief financial officer of Freddie Mac, had taken his life. If you were a young 41-year-old ambitious executive who had been groomed for 16 years to become the CFO of one of the world's top financial institutions, you might feel very lucky. But you have no idea that the day you buy a dream home in an exclusive neighborhood of the nation's capital area is the day that you are marked for certain to be a fall guy. What are the odds that a realtor would direct you to a home near Reston, Virginia that would fall exactly on a line through the middle of your office building at Freddie Mac in McLean, Virginia, then exactly through the middle of the World Bank building, which is, of course, across the street from the IMF? Then that line passes by the front portico entrance to the White House and terminates exactly in the middle of the U.S. Treasury. If you think that this is just too unbelievable to be true, then review these images. There is no doubt that from the day he took residence in his dream home, then those in power at these institutions had horrific plans for his demise should he not choose to play ball. It is apparent that David Kellerman had a conscience and chose not to play ball, and was either pushed into taking his own life or was suicided. But it is likely that he did not know just how long his role in this tragedy was being planned. Is it any wonder then, just a few hours after his death, that the outline for the PBS broadcast for that day would be formed by the line just described? Consider the narrative by Gwen Eiffel. In a verbatim transcript, we see that it follows in the following way. And that in that other news, the International Monetary Fund warned the world economy will lose ground this year for the first time in nearly 6 decades. The agency forecast global economic activity will fall more than 1%, and the outlook for the U.S. was worse still, a drop of nearly 3%. And Washington Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner acknowledged the global crisis has American roots. His quote, "We bear in the United States a substantial responsibility, a substantial share of the responsibility for what has happened. But the factors that have made this crisis so acute and so difficult to contain lie in a broader set of global forces that built up in the years before the start of the present downturn." Gwen Eiffel narrates, Geithner also said, "There are signs the recession may be starting to moderate, but on Wall Street, worries about banks resurfaced after Morgan Stanley reported first quarter losses that were larger than expected. The Dow Jones Industrial Averages fell 83 points to close at 78.86. The NASDAQ rose 2 points to close at 16.46. The acting chief financial officer of mortgage giant Freddie Mac was found dead today. Police said David Kellerman apparently committed suicide. His body was discovered in the basement of his home in suburban Virginia. Investigators did not say if he had left a note of explanation. Kellerman had worked at Freddie Mac for 16 years. He was promoted to CFO last September after the government seized control of the troubled lender. This makes it very painfully obvious that Americans cannot, in all circumstances, understand what is being reported to them unless they consult Google Earth and understand the relationships on a geographic level first. The fact that the sequence of the evening's news report from PBS exactly matched those institutions that fell on the line that brought about David Kellerman's demise is no accident. This shows that events are predetermined and controlled, and that what we are fed through the media is also very filtered and controlled. It is also painfully obvious that David Kellerman was made a victim by the hegemonic, predatory power brokers that planned this conspiracy over an extended period of time and chose him to take the fall. Unfortunately, the story of David Kellerman is just an example of what has been going on throughout American history by powers that have been in control from behind the scenes from the onset of this nation's beginning. If you would like to learn more on this subject, go to 911sharethetruth.com and look for the DVD Hidden Timelines of Secret Societies, Cracking the 9/11 Itinerary Code, where a new edition will be forthcoming in the next month. Thank you.